Hey, this is Dave from cheapwinefinder.com. And today we've got another companion podcast for you from the cheapwinefinder.com website. And this is December. We're starting to hit the party wines. This is the kind of wines normally we do $6 wines that are kind of cool. They taste great and, they don't have a lot of provenance, but they're really good. But now we're doing wines that, you might want to have on hand when friends come over, or maybe it's just one of those warm nights around the fireplace kind of situations. A really good wine that doesn't cost a lot of money, but it is a quality wine. And what we have today is the Klinker Brick Old Vine Zinfandel 2016. And a Klinker Brick is a winery out of Lodi, California. The family has been growing fruit in that area for 5 generations, like over 100 years. The Klinker Brick winery has been around since 2000. And Old Vine. What is Old Vine? There is no legal definition for Old Vine, but with the Klinker Brick Old Vine Zinfandel, the vineyards are between 55 years old and 120 years old, which I think is legit for old vine. I mean, you can actually decide that a 6-year-old vineyard is old. I mean, if you want to sell it that way. But here, these are old vines. And actually, Lodi is full of old vines. And why would you want old vines? Why is that a good thing? And that is because there's a wine adage. There's very few things that in wine pertains to everything. And here's one of them. Grapes need to suffer to make great wine. Fat and happy, great ground, great climate, everything's good. You make grape jelly out of that. You don't grape wine. So it has to suffer. And old vines are like old people. They kind of take their time going down the road. They have aches and pains. Things don't work like they used to. And that makes a yield that is less grapes on the vine means more concentrated grapes. It takes a longer time for them to ripen. That's always a good thing because you want a lengthy ripening period. Old vine makes the grapes really good without actually maybe initially when the vineyard was young, it might not have been the greatest vineyard in the world. But like the tortoise and the hare, at some point, this vineyard now is like rocking. You know about Bordeaux, you know about Burgundy, you know about Napa, you know about Rioja. And the reason why you know about that is because there is a great place to grow grapes. Now, not every place in Burgundy or Napa is great. They put that on their label and you'll pay for it, but not every place is great. But those are places that make wines that can be aged for a long, 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 long time. You don't want to drink those wines, the best of them, for 20 years. Everywhere else makes great grapes too. Lodi makes great grapes too, but these are grapes that you don't want to put them away forever. You want to drink these now. And that's kind of a good thing. And they don't have the name of the famous places, but they have the grapes that really make drinking now wines good. And this is the Klinker Brick Old Vine Lodi Zinfandel 2016. And that is their second label. Their first is a Ghost Vine Zin, which is single vineyard, 90-year-old vineyards, 90-year-old vines. And that's like a $35 to $40 wine. And this, the Klinker Brick Old Vine, is 16 different vineyards. And that's kind of one of the things about old vines. If you're going to do a single vineyard old vine, there's not that many grapes to go around from that vineyard because it's older. It has less yield. There's less grapes to go around. The price is going to go up. So if you want to bring the price down, you're going to take a little bit from every vineyard. And that's what this one does. 16, you get all the goodness, you get all the characteristics of old vines, but you're using a bunch of different quality vineyards. And then you're getting, I think I found this for $13.99. So you're getting old vine for $13.99, where the Ghost Vines is $35 to $40. And actually some of the grapes from the vineyard of the Ghost Vine are in this one, which is one of the cool things about, like, when you have a winery, the second label usually has some of the grapes from the top of the line at a lesser cost. And that's been around with wine forever. And what else we're talking about here? Like, brand wines are, this is a winery. Brand wine. This is not a brand wine. Brand wines are wines that are not tied to a winery. They, there's wine conglomerates out there that own 40, 50, actually 100 and 120 labels. There's big conglomerates, and that what they do is because the wine isn't tied to a winery, they can source their grapes where they want to. They can have the grapes produced where they want to. They can bring the cost down. And that's not a bad thing because, cheap wine, we're Cheap Wine Finder, probably has the best overall quality that it's ever had, and the price is still low. And that brand wine is one of the reasons why that happened. But here we have with Klinker Brick, they're a winery, a family-owned winery that's competing in the brand wine category, and they're really kicking butt. This is a old vine Zinfandel. It has all the characteristics of the old vine. And what they're doing here is that, with the winemaker, they said that they don't do anything. When wine is made, the winemaker tries to do as little as possible to the grapes. But what needs to be done gets done. And they're talking about cold soak. They're talking about maceration. Those things are all the things to extract all the flavor and the texture out of the wine, to give the wine the best body and the best flavor you can. It's like with Chardonnay, you want to know about malolactic. You want to know about enriches. But with Zinfandel, you want to know about cold soak. You want to know about maceration. And I've been talking for a while here, and I haven't drank any of this wine, and I'm going to take a sip. And because of the cold soak and the maceration, this has a soft mouthfeel, and it has a big body to the wine. I mean, you can really it's a mix of kind of like soft, rounded flavors and tart flavors. There's a nice transition in the mid-palate. There's a ton of flavor going on here. This is I kind of like Zinfandel that's got a rustic kind of quality to it. It's a little bit, kind of a farm wine. And this one's got elegance and grace to it. And I like that too. But this is a really flavorful, quality Zinfandel. And I'm going to take another sip because I'm just thinking about how good it is. Hold on. There's one thing when I write about a wine, I always get the technical notes for the wine. Well, usually when there's technical notes available, I try to go out and find them, because that's how you know about wine. That's how everybody, when you go to a boutique wine shop and they start telling you about the wine, well, they read the technical notes. And that's what I do when I do because otherwise, how do you know? And technical notes are kind of weird with wine. They go from like being so complicated. It's like a checklist of everything they did to the wine since they picked it till they bottled it. Doesn't happen that often, but that happens. And the other extreme is like, this wine is like sitting in a field of clover. And, it's like, what the heck are they talking about? It has nothing to do with what's going on in the bottle. People who make the barrels. Any winery that is proud of the decision they made on who made the barrels is taking care of business. Every time I have one of those wines where they tell me, and I don't actually always know, there are certain cooperages that are kind of famous and I've heard the name before. But if you're telling me who makes your barrels, you're telling me details that are really kind of, I need to know. I might not understand, but I need to know. And that you're not hiding what you're doing and you're proud of what you're doing. And I usually love those wines. Just because they tell you. I've loved wines where they don't tell you a damn thing about the wine. But when you get a winery that is proud of what they're doing and is not hiding what they're doing, as they're doing is really good, that usually makes a good wine. And that's what Klinker Brick Old Zinfandel 2016 is all about. And there you go. It's a quality Zinfandel, classy, it tastes great. And it's one of those wines that for the holidays you want to have sitting around just in case. It's a good wine. You got family and friends coming over. You got, a cold night around the fireplace. This wine's going to do it. So there you go. Until next time, we'll have something else coming on because it's going to be party wines and fun wines and having a good time all month long. And that's it for me. Keep it cheap. This is a wine that will be good for you and good to you. And we're behind that all the way. So I'll talk to you later. Adios. Bye-bye.